Let's focus on the novel The Red and the Black. On Julian's choice in The Red and the Black, why did he abandon the lucrative timber business to obsess over entering the upper class? After reading The Red and the Black, I have always been puzzled by one thing. Julian's family background was not bad. His father was a timber merchant, and a friend even invited him to start a timber factory together. According to his friend, this business was very profitable at that time, and doing it for 3 or 4 years would ensure a lifetime of comfort. Yet, Julien chose to abandon this surefire path, single-mindedly determined to take the route of the church, work as a tutor in the mayor's house, and even went so far as to curry favor with the aristocracy, striving wholeheartedly to get close to what he saw as the core of power. This makes me even more confused. Does Julien truly not value money? Or was the logic of power and wealth in 19th century French society entirely different from that of modern Europe? For instance, in those days, did the aristocracy, as long as they held a title, possess fiefdoms and an endless stream of wealth? In contrast, modern European leaders like former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson openly claimed to be penniless despite holding high positions. This seems to indicate that the modern civil service system has long been decoupled from the idea of amassing wealth through power. So, behind Julien's opposition with entering the upper class, is it a case of misplaced ambition, or was this simply the social norm of his time? Okay, let's check out the answer. Your observation is very insightful. The core issue lies in conflating the power and money logic of the red and black era with that of modern Europe. In early 19th century France, where Julien lived, the power and wealth of the aristocracy or upper class were directly intertwined. In modern Europe, however, the power and wealth of civil servants, including leaders, have long been decoupled. These are two entirely distinct social logics. First, let's clarify a crucial point. The historical background of the red and the black is completely different from the current systems of France or Europe. Stendhal's novel is set in France around 1815 to 1830. The Bourbon Restoration period. The Bourbon Restoration period, not the modern republican system. The social logic of that era was a mixture of remnants of the old regime and the rise of new forces. 1. For the aristocracy, power equals wealth. Your assumption that a title equals a fiefdom equals wealth is correct. This was a tradition in Europe from the Middle Ages to the early modern period. The core of being an aristocrat was not having money, but holding privileges, owning fiefdoms to collect rent, enjoying tax exemptions, being eligible for high-ranking official positions. Key roles in the church and government were almost monopolized by the aristocracy, and even receiving direct rewards, land, gold, silver, and estates from the king or emperor. Take the mayor in the novel as an example. His wealth did not come from his mayor's salary, but from his aristocratic status and territories. High-ranking clergymen in the church also controlled vast amounts of farmland and wealth. 2. Julien's choice, dignity greater than money. He was not irrational. Instead, he was driven by the inferiority. He was driven by the inferiority and ambition of a member of the lower class, the son of a carpenter. The timber business could make him rich, but in that society, merchants still belonged to the third estate. They were regarded as newly rich and looked down upon by the aristocracy, lacking social status and even dignity. In his eyes, the red, military, and black church were the only channels for the lower class to cross class boundaries at that time. As long as he entered the upper echelons of the church or military, as long as he entered the upper echelons of the church or military, he could obtain aristocratic status and thereby gain power plus wealth plus social respect. This was not a case of not valuing money. Rather, what he sought was the class status behind money, something the timber business could never provide him. Now, let's look at the modern European civil servants, such as Boris Johnson, who mentioned. The logic here is completely reversed. Modern Europe, including Britain, France, and the United States, operates under democratic republicanism or constitutional monarchy, with the core principles of check and balances of power plus financial transparency. The income of civil servants, including presidents and prime ministers, consists of a fixed salary. For example, the British prime minister's annual salary is approximately £160,000, and the French president's is about €170,000, which has nothing to do with titles or fiefdoms. Their power is endowed by their positions and cannot be directly converted into wealth. The cost of corruption is extremely high. Even when Boris Johnson claimed to be poor, this essentially reflected the huge income gap between their salaries and the earnings of the social elite, such as businessmen and tycoons. It is by no means genuine poverty, but rather that they cannot amass wealth through power. To put it simply, in modern times, if you want to make money, go into business. If you want power, become a civil servant, and don't aim for money. In Julien's era, however, if you wanted power to enter the upper class, you would naturally have endless wealth, as power directly brought wealth. In conclusion, Julien did not disregard money. Instead, he saw through the social rules of his time, class status,